push it till after the midterm elections. Thomas in Boston, you're up next. Go ahead, Thomas.
Hi, Jeff.
Hi.
I just wanted to say that I got a call this morning from my sister down in Maryland, and she told me, she said, "Can you believe this news this morning?" I said, "What?" She said, "Julie Swetnick is the newest accuser of from Avenatti." I said, "You're kidding." Anyway, we grew up right near the Swetnicks. We knew her parents, Marty and Elaine, well. They were always over at our house. We knew Julie. They grew up in Montgomery Village near Lake Whetstone. I think my father, who was the school administrator, had her in his school. My sister had her in classes there at Montgomery Village Junior High. I believe it was. Anyway, my sister said, "Can you believe such a wacko delusional as Julie Swetnick is the accuser?" I said, "You're kidding me, right?" Anyway, I Googled this morning on the social media. I'm shocked. I'm shocked. I don't want to say anything negatory or defamatory because I want to talk to my sisters first. I haven't had a chance to talk to my other sisters. I've got 3 sisters. But growing up, we always knew that Julie not only had issues, but she had a full subscription, okay? And then to have this come, I mean, geez, blast from the past in this national case was shocking. But, yeah, we knew her parents well. We kind of knew all the issues, and Elaine would always, talk with my mom about all the issues, the issues of substance abuse and mental issues and everything else from Julie. So I used to hear that stuff. My mom used to talk about, Elaine is, at wit's end regarding Julie and all of her problems and da-da-da. Secondly, I'd like to say this. Montgomery Village, the circle that she was in, the social circle, was quite a distance from Bethesda. Certainly that area down there, off Rockville Pike, where George John Prep is, where the Kavanaughs were. There's quite a distance, probably about half an hour. As you know, Jeff, you're from the DC area.
Yes, I used to live there and work near there.
I know that Julie had moved down there later on, and that her mother was subsidizing her living, like in DC and Northwest and down in Bethesda. But Julie had absolutely, there's no way that she would have encountered these same social circles. Certainly not during high school. When she was, up in Montgomery Village and probably, going to parties with people from Seneca Valley. Certainly not Georgetown Prep. Anyway,
Thomas, hold on. Thomas, this isn't, you have no idea what an important phone call this is. Brittany, Thomas, don't hang up. What I want you to do, Brittany, is this segment of the show, we got to get this to Drudge. I got to get this to Matt Drudge. I got to get this to people in the Trump administration because this is huge. Because Kavanaugh's confirmation now literally hangs by a thread. So, Thomas, what you're saying is, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, what you're saying is that your family knew her. You don't want to defame her, which I get that. But that basically the Julie Swetnick that you knew as a teenager, how do I say this, had psychological issues, had mental issues, correct?
But Jeff, I want to be cautious about this because this is all secondhand.
I understand that. It's coming from your sisters who knew her more than you did. But what you're saying is there were issues.
And even her mother, I used to know her mother. Her mother was a junk dealer. Her mother got a degree in geology, and she worked in the junk business. And Frederick, I don't know if you're familiar with Frederick. She had odds and ends. She had a little bit in there. That's how she befriended my mother. My mother was like in antiques, and they became very close friends. Very close friends. Both of her parents passed away about 20 years ago. Marty was I knew him well. He worked on the Manhattan Project. He was a PhD in physics from NYU, and we talked all the time about his experience with that. And Elaine and I were very close, and we talked a lot. And she used to tell my mother about all the problems she was having with Julie. And I don't want to say anything specifically, but this is all stuff that I heard.
Okay, Thomas, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Your family knew their family, and as you say, you knew her parents, or your parents knew her parents, quite well, or they knew each other. What you're saying, Thomas, is you don't believe her.
As my sister said when she called this morning, she says, "Can you imagine a more delusional whack job is the one that came forward against Kavanaugh? I mean, this national story involving the Supreme Court. I mean, Jeff, it's so unbelievable. Someone like this, They were, even though both of them had decent backgrounds, Marty and Elaine, they were very middle class of that. And that area, Lake Whetstone, is their house. I had been over to their house a number of times, and they were very middle class.
Well, okay? I'll tell you this. It's not Holston Arms. It's not Georgetown Prep. Yeah, it's not Bethesda. It's not Chevy Chase. It's not Christine Ford and Kavanaugh, the circles they used to run around with.
It's not, Jeff. I mean, they would be entirely there's an infinite gulf between the social classes, and even the distance between Montgomery Village and where she was and Bethesda in Georgetown Prep, that whole,
Thomas,
go ahead.
Buddy, I'm up against it. You have no idea how grateful and thankful I am that you called. Thank you very much. You have done this country a huge service. I'm going to get this to Drudge as soon as I can. Thank you, Thomas. Think about it, just logically. I know I'm up against it, Brittany, but I want all of you to think about it. All of those weeks and weeks of hearings where the